This podcast is rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Some material may not be suitable for children.
Mission 250.
In your background, it makes you're like some kind of apparition.
I could just listen to Timmy sing the song.
Call yourselves. Go fuck yourself. Just go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. What? Huh?
Welcome to the Mission
hello,
250
guys.
Filmcast.
Oh,
This is
where
we're doing a Star Wars marathon here, guys.
Oh, yeah.
This
Yep,
movie is
we
number
sure are.
17 on the best movies of all time list. This is the highest movie we watched by far, because we're skipping ahead here.
yeah.
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back. It was made in 1980, directed by Irvin Kershner. The synopsis is, after the rebels are brutally overpowered by the Emperor on the ice planet Hoth, Luke Skywalker begins Jedi training with Yoda, while his friends are pursued by Darth Vader and a bounty hunter named Boba Fett all over the galaxy. And
Fucking bounty hunters.
if you haven't been watching the other two episodes for The New Hope, we're doing a thing. TC, we have this rare specimen here. His name is Terrence Mulhern, TC. He's never watched Star Wars before in his life. He's what, you 35, TC? How old are you? 34, 35?
36.
36. Oh, shit, he's 36.
He's
never seen it before in his life.
Slope. Never seen it.
And the little man
Never
who
saw
lives
it.
inside his head is Timmy.
Mhm.
Never heard of it. Don't know what it is. I spited it for a lot of years. It's typical me, pain in the ass. Yes, hadn't watched it. Now I love it. And
Nice.
I'm in.
nice.
Yeah, I'm in. I am a fan.
So you loved A New Hope. You just watched The Empire Strikes Back for the first time.
Right.
What'd you think? Whoa!
Just, whoa, oh, just a lot of that, jeez. And Timmy's in there, he's like, what, you fucking asshole, stop waking me up. I'm like, have you seen this? I saw it, I heard it. I heard it. Whoa, is all I got, Timmy. It's fucking good. It's complex, too. This one's way more intense than the other one was.
Yeah.
It's a different director, I guess. I don't know.
Yep.
It is.
I didn't know that. I just brought that up in my team meeting or team happy hour, which is why I'm a little, how you doing? And and my good buddy was like, yeah, it's different director. Just like, very calmly.
That's
I'm like,
why. Like, oh, it is. Oh, I
Oh.
thought Lucas did it. Well,
Is it? He's like, yeah, it's a lot different. He's like, yeah, different director. That's what usually happens when someone else directs it.
you're like,
I'm
shut up, man. I'm new.
Huh.
Come on. Give me a fucking
I
break.
understand. Oh my God. And then I went into some bullshit. I'm like, me and directors, they're all up their own ass anyways. Fucking who cares? They just got lucky, No, this was a lot different. It was a lot different.
Yeah.
It was just more. There was just more. It seemed like it was ready for TV now. Someone polished it in a way that was like, accessible all of a sudden, even further. It was it was awesome. I mean, Jesus Christ, just talk about like a step up from all the other, I don't know, VFX that they had in the last one, and they just made it better.
Yep.
For me, it seemed better. It didn't seem worse. Nothing seemed worse. Put it that way. Besides maybe some of the weird CG stuff that was there randomly, very infrequent.
Oh,
too.
which cut did you watch? There shouldn't be any CG at all.
Well, it's not CG. It's like it just seemed like an old digital.
Well, some of it's
right in the beginning.
some of it's stop
That brown,
motion.
the black. Is it the black? That like the droid that is following them in the beginning.
Oh, like the sentry droid or the like.
Oh.
like
whatever
those,
that droid is that finds them on Hoth or whatever.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it emanated from the back of the whatever that was, the little hill there.
Oh well, I think it too.
I think it was supposed to be
mean,
the heat coming off of it, is what I thought it was.
Oh, really?
Was it?
That's what
Yeah,
I
I don't know.
chalk it up. I know what you mean. There's kind of like a blurry outline around it, but I thought it
Right.
was just like the heat that the robot
Oh.
emits.
I just thought that was like CG.
Well,
mistakes
it's
or
not
something.
CG because everything's models, but it
Or like
might have been
projection mistakes or something.
Right. Well, I think
Yeah, like
you had
something-
because
right,
they had
right.
like matte painting backgrounds,
Something digital, as
even
it
out there.
seemed
And
like,
if you didn't have the camera like perfectly steady and focused just right, it would sort of mess with the backgrounds too. So maybe that had something to do. I don't know. And they were also like,
yeah.
I mean, they're filming a fair amount of that stuff in Norway in freezing cold temperatures. So they were having a hard time getting the camera.
So it was just Bigfoot. It was what you're saying.
Yeah.
They found Bigfoot and they filmed
just
him.
Bigfoot.
And it worked out
Yeah.
for everyone.
Okay.
That's
it was
right.
Timmy and Bigfoot. They were hanging out trying to catch a fish, and they, All right, now it makes way more sense. Now I'm on board. Yeah, this was just a way different. I mean, the story seemed more involved. Everything just seemed more involved. It just seemed more complex. It seemed like I needed to pay attention, less in the New
Well,
Hope.
it wasn't
This
just
one was
it wasn't just a fun action ride. It was
this was
right?
like, this has an arc. You have to pay attention from the beginning to the end in a way that's like, oh, I know it's actually what happened before, at least. It wasn't just like a linear, like, hey, boom, 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 additional stuff. So there was, it was great. I was saying in my group at work, if I had been in the theater, I would have been one of those guys, screaming up, chanting, yelling, yeah, fuck yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'm in my room and, I had this whole thing where I was like, I'm chanting, I'm screaming. I just look over and it's just me and the cat, like the cat. She doesn't know what the fuck. She's just thinking to herself, like, can I get more fancy fees? I'm like, have you seen this fucking film? Have you, sir, seen this film? It's a she. Have you, sir, seen the film? And she's just looking at me
ma'am,
like,
get up here on my lap, ma'am. You got to watch this shit. It's fucking good.
Yeah, first of all, I'm a ma'am. Second of all, you fed me tuna, fancy feast. Not a big fan. If you got beef, that'd be great. So I would totally be on board for. I can't imagine what the theaters were like. If this was like at all ever a packed theater, it would have been something else.
Yeah.
It
This
would have
movie
been
was popular.
unreal, and especially back then when nerds weren't allowed to be nerds, really too. Like
That must have been
It must have
confusing
been-
for everyone, right?
Yeah,
If like nerds,
right?
you still got beat up, but you went to this theater. What would you?
and like there was a ton of it.
Well, but it
You would-
was not just ton of. I mean, it was universally loved. I
Yeah,
mean, so it
that's
wasn't
true.
just the nerds
Yeah.
anymore. So it was
Mostly the nerds, nerd tendencies. We're just gonna say nerd tendencies.
I mean, I grew up
was,
after
people
this movie
noticing
came out, and nerds were still bad. It was bad to be a nerd growing up.
Oh,
And I
right.
grew up after these movies came out.
It might have been weird.
Right.
I don't know. As far as I remember, it was never
John is
anything
just this,
nerdy
like,
about
really
loving
likable
Star
guy,
Wars.
so-
It just seemed like everybody loved Star Wars.
That's because you're the
So-
nerd.
Maybe
You don't
yeah,
even
I
see
guess
it.
so.
And
I-
you
nerd-
surround
nerd-
yourself with other
That's
nerds.
like nerd privilege.
Yeah.
No, it's not even that. It's nerd. It's nerd like disassociation. There's
Yeah,
like
I guess so.
non-nerd world and nerd
Everybody
world. You were
likes
in
it.
nerd world.
Don't you like that? And all the other nerds go, yeah, we all like it.
Yeah, we all love it. Yeah, we have
Everybody
a glass.
loves it.
We have a glass ball around us, and we don't leave that glass ball. But
I
sure,
don't
yeah,
know
we're great.
anybody who doesn't like it, though. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people that hate
Ah.
it or don't like it, but I don't know anybody who doesn't like it.
I
now
think you
that
were just
I'm
getting
on
attacked
board,
by
I
a
think you
mob
might
of
be
rabid
right.
nerds, and they were afraid
Excuse me,
for their
excuse me,
lives.
excuse me.
Yeah,
Just
maybe.
like all coming at you really loud. Excuse me. Just all just coming at you, and I'm on board. Don't worry. I'm one of you. I swear. I'm one of you. I swear to God, I love you too. Yeah. I mean, I had a good time with this. I thought it was just as good as the last one, if not better, and more thorough and more. I don't know. Just had a lot more. There was just more. There was multiple stories going on in this one at once, and you kind of had to pay attention in order to figure out the overarching story. So it's I could see why people get into this. I really can.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not just what am I trying to say? I'm for once not disappointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
keep that happy feeling because it's all downhill from here, TC.
That's what someone said. They were like, "Well, don't worry, you're getting to the prequels, so
Yeah.
you'll hate it soon enough." And I was like,
We are not going to watch the prequels. That is something I will not do again.
"Yeah, okay, copy that." Well, we have one more then that we get to enjoy, so I'm looking
Yep.
forward to it. Yeah.
Good.
So I that's about all I have, though. I mean, I didn't really watch it for any sort of technical stuff, I did this time throw the audio up super loud with additional bass in my EQ. Like I EQ'd it so that I was like, all right, where's this copy at? That sounds light, and just added in a bunch of bass areas, and then it did hit a lot harder, which was nice. And I was listening to it so fucking loud. It was like,
Oh, the soundtrack
9:30.
is so good.
Yeah.
yeah, around 9:30 last night, and that fucking end credit comes on, and you're just like, fuck yeah, yeah.
What did you think about the reveal? Sort of Vader's reveal at the end of that. Did you see that coming at all?
I did, only because I remember it being drilled into my head from the time. Like I remember hearing all the words, so I knew it was coming. I could feel it. I'm like, no, this has got to be the part. It's got to be the
okay.
part. And I was like, it's the part.
The world has spoiled
Okay.
this movie for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
that's
So
too
there
bad,
was,
yeah.
there was that. I know exactly. Oh man, I sat there and been like, oh man, I didn't think the reveal was gonna be like. I mean, I guess I don't know why I thought it would be different than all the damn things I've heard a million goddamn times, whether it's in commercials.
You've already
or
heard it
other
as
movies.
a joke, right? Long
Yeah,
before you
heard
saw
it
this,
as a
right?
joke. You heard it from old parents that are lame and don't have good jokes. You've heard it from a friend who was trying to do the impression. You've heard from the advertising agency that's got fucking car insurance on the mind. You know what I mean? Like you heard it in a million different ways. So yeah, the reveal, unfortunately for me, was not as cool as it probably could have been. But
So, John, what you got to do is you got to keep your kids in a bubble. Don't let them talk to anybody else in the world until you're ready to introduce them to these movies so they can get a full experience.
It's too late. Sam already knows, and I don't know if it's because she remembers from when she watched with my parents, right? Or I mean, she knows there's kids at her preschool and kindergarten now that talk about Star Wars, so she has some ideas already. But yeah,
it's impossible. This movie is so freaking popular still. It's nuts. You can't keep that.
It's crazy.
Secret.
I can see why, though. It's accessible. I mean, honestly, anyone can watch that movie and get on board. It's good. I'm in.
What do you think about? All right, more questions for TC. Hasn't seen it. Were you satisfied with the ending?
I mean, I was excited for the next one because I know there's a next one, though.
Yeah. And you don't have to wait 3 years to watch it, like the people back when this came out.
I was super excited when it ended. I was like, "Oh, should I just start up the next one?"
Yeah, I turned to Naomi and we're like, "Can we just watch the next one right now?" I want to watch Return of the Jedi.
Exactly what happened. And then I was like, I shouldn't because then like it might cloud my talk, like my judgment on this one.
Yeah,
and
that would be good.
So I didn't do it, but I was excited. Like that's exactly what I wanted to do. That fucking thing finished. I heard the credits come on. I was screaming and yelling at the cat, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, I should just wait. But yeah, there was absolute like I need to just fucking put the next one on. You know,
some good restraint there. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it's not often. It's also
more sacrifices for the podcast.
You know, it's one of those things too, where like you're in bed and you're comfortable and you're like, I could get up and turn on. I really want to watch it. And before you know it, you're out. You know, there was also some of that going on. But yeah,
but you also know once you press play and you hear the crawl with that boom, you're just like, I'm in. 2 hours. I'm in. I'm up.
Yep. Don't care. Just give me the caffeine. Sure. I'm up.
Yeah. Yep. What was new to you? Had you seen like the Snowwalkers before?
No. So everything was the only thing that was not new to me was the reveal. Everything else,
man,
I had no clue.
envy you that because it's like I can't. I know all this stuff so well that even though the Hoth scene in particular and the asteroid battle.
Oh, dude, there was a good Nintendo 64 video game with that Hoth scene that I played to death back when I was.
Oh, really?
John, did you have that one? I don't know if you had that game.
Yeah, that was Shadow of the Empire, wasn't it? Maybe. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I had that one. That was pretty awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go on. What else?
The memory there.
I interrupted you. You were listing off all your favorite parts. I'm sorry.
Oh no. I was just interested in what TC thought too. I just think I just was saying I envy that. Like I don't enjoy this or appreciate it as much as I still really love it watching it and I'm impressed. But man, I just envy this all being or a good chunk of it being new because I'm so used to it.
Whenever they're on the ship there and they're on some other animal, obviously, because he shoots the animal and he moves or whatever. Those fucking things scared me at first. I was like, oh, what is that? What is that? Like, that's not happening to you. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I'm at home. I'm like, oh, fucking kill that thing. It's a weird bat. Fucking bird thing with a vacuum cleaner mouth. And get rid of this thing. The fuck? Kill them all. Spray them with Raid. I don't know what you have to do. Like, I was like having one of those moments. So you're not having those moments.
Did you jumped too, right? You jumped when it got stuck to the window?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. 100% jumped. Oh, Jesus Christ, I said. The fuck is that thing? Kill it. Someone kill it. Jesus. Chewy, take care of this fucking guy, would you? But anyways, go on, John.
This film is amazing. So I've got lots of trivia because this is the first film I've not gone to the wiki page for. But what I ended up doing was there's the series of books by J.W. Rinsler called The Making of Star Wars.
Oh, you read some books?
Well, I read most of half of this one. Like over half of this one. They're awesome. They're like the Kindle editions are $15, but they come with images, audio, and some video footage.
What's the name again, John? Sorry, I'm going to buy these right now.
It's called The Making of Star Wars. So there's one for each. One's for Star Wars, one for Empire Strikes Back, and one for Return of the Jedi. I'm going to get the Return of the Jedi one too. The hardcovers are like $45, but the Kindle editions are great, and you don't need like a Kindle reader. Like their Kindle app works great,
just like your phone
or Android. Yeah, I read it on my iPhone, and so for $15, this is like collected. At least what he does with Empire, he like goes through like, here's what things were like beforehand. Here's what everybody was doing right after Star Wars ended. Follows it all the way through to shooting, who he hired, what was going on set, whatever. Collected all the interviews. It's just like. You're seeing like day for day almost. He's trying to like recreate like samples of the scripts, like in the rewrites of the scripts and talking about how each rewrite was different and showing you samples. It's pretty cool. I dove into that and just again, not that I had tons of time this week, but when I did have time, I was reading it. It's just pretty damn cool.
There's only 2 left in stock. I'm buying it right now.
Oh, you're not buying on the hard.
Only
You're
2
buying
left
on
in
the
stock.
hardcovers?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, cool.
It's got
See-
pictures in it and shit, dude. It's gonna be
Oh
great.
yeah. Oh, dude, it's got all of McQuarrie's art. Not all of it. It's got a whole bunch of like McQuarrie's artwork. But this dude is such a amazing. He's like the guy that like brought it to life. So he would do these paintings, and he would do the paintings of the sets or the vehicles or the action scenes, and people were saying over and over again how McQuarrie just brought this stuff to life by his paintings. And when you look at the paintings, they're just fucking gorgeous. So it's really cool. Like there's so many talented people from audio, visual, modeling, camera work that were working on this film, and they just show you that the amount of friggin' thought and work went into it. And you see all the concept sketches as like say like the at the Snowwalkers evolved and
It's
where
AT-AT,
they went.
John. AT-AT.
Yeah, whatever.
Sorry, we're nerds, John. Come on, we gotta get it right.
No, I'm not. I failed. So
You're
I
just trying to be
call it
cool.
Snowwalkers. Whatever.
Excuse me, no one. Everybody likes
Yeah.
Star Wars.
What does AT-AT stand for?
Automatic transmission, all-terrain.
Oh, right, because you don't want those things in manual.
All the asses together. All the asses together. How's that?
My stick shift broke. I'm fucked.
God damn it, Vader's going to choke me for sure. I just wrecked the AT-AT.
Oh, by the way, he can choke via Wi-Fi. You seen that? He's choking via the fucking video. I was like, holy shit, this guy's got he's got
Vader's
over
got
Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi.
control. Jesus Christ, man. Holy
choking
shit.
over
is
Wi-Fi.
it? He's got
Choking over Skype.
chokes over Wi-Fi.
You know the power is strong when he's got a smooth choking connection over Skype.
It's whatever, it's not a very good connection. So you're
Yeah,
like,
get the
no, I'm
network
all
guy.
right,
We're
really, I'm
lagging.
okay.
We're lagging on the
Nope.
choke right now. We're lagging on the
you're
choke.
not getting. Must be really frustrating if you got a bad connection and
Oh,
Vader
God,
can't really
yeah.
choke you. He can just sort of make you cough uncomfortably.
Right? Yeah, he bought the Luke Skywalker repeaters instead of the other one, you know? He bought the wrong kind.
But yeah, just the effort that went in, like designing each and every freaking thing. They put so much work into it, and Lucas, I feel bad. Like in the first, it's so easy to think, especially with the way he's doing. He's trying to change things and not wanting the originals to be released. It's really easy to kind of crap on him, right? But
I hate that.
He created so much of this, and he was basically the driving force and the decider behind just about everything.
Right, and he needs to step the fuck aside
He does.
and
I know.
let them be.
He's the most confusing director I've ever
He is.
heard.
People, I mean, and maybe the book's biased, I don't know, but everybody talks very favorably of him. That
I'm sure he's a
like,
great guy.
Even with the
Sure he's a great
director,
guy.
he was there. He like wanted to move out of directing because it was just driving him nuts because he couldn't do everything. And like, you know, we hear Carrie Fisher talking about how he was never quite there as a director on Star Wars. And that's likely because he was doing everything.
Yeah.
He was
Right.
doing everything. So he had his hand and was helping to decide with whether it was sound, staging, effects, budgets, everything. And so he was, again, that's why he was stepping back into an Empire and being more of a producer role. And he's very critical of the film industry. He was like saying like it's you know, it's no different than like the electrical industry. It's not about making movies. It's about making money and having a product and screwing over people. And he wants to get out of that. And he's like immediately like what he did with Empire before the Star Wars was successful, but none of the money was coming in. But he turns around and basically invests in Empire. He's going to basically pay for Empire with his own money. And he's going to like build some of the staging and some of the sound sets that are going to be and like rebuild his whole like LucasArts ranch and stuff.
He put up
with-
$18 million of his own cash.
I mean,
and the
what
rest
are
of
you
it in a
doing?
personal
I don't know
bank
about you
loan.
guys, but when I get extra money, I have no use for it. Like, you can only use as much money as you think you need. And if he doesn't need all that extra money,
You're not
That's
building
amazing.
Dagobah systems.
It wasn't-
TC.
no,
It
but,
wasn't
but what I'm
there.
saying is it's
The money
amazing that
wasn't
he's
there,
just
though.
like, I'm just doing it anyway.
No,
I love it.
it wasn't even there. Like it was collateral.
Yeah,
He
this
didn't
is an
even have that
indie.
money.
This is a completely independent movie. This is an
like
indie
the Star
movie.
Wars money.
I mean, it's awesome.
You know, the Star
Yeah.
Wars money wasn't even there, and the merchandising and stuff hadn't really kicked in either.
Well, he had
wow.
18 million from Star
Yeah.
Wars, which is a
he
decent
didn't-
chunk of
the-
change.
The money wasn't coming in. I don't think he had that money yet, though. It was kind of slow to come in. I kind of thought.
That so yeah, I don't know if
but-
he barred that.
Because he
I don't
was
know.
like,
go for it.
yeah, it just from reading the
Who
book
knows?
anyway, he just like was like taking whatever he had and putting it as collateral to getting even bigger loans to set up all this other stuff.
That's
Like
smart.
if
It's
like
great.
Empire failed, he was screwed.
Yeah,
At
he
least
was
the way
never
that they
gonna
were
fail.
presenting it. And
He must have known he was
film.
never going to fail. Who has an idea like this? Nobody's
Yeah.
got an idea like
But
this.
it's amazing, yeah. And so it does. I agree, Denny. That's what makes it so confusing. But I still feel like I was even then being way too harsh to think of it. It's like easy, given what he's doing now, to think these weren't really his ideas, or maybe he was just surrounded by these really talented people and he's just taking credit. But when you read the background and stuff, that's not it at all. I mean, he has insanely talented people, but he's basically the one.
That's like the icing on the cake. He's
Right,
already got
right.
Yeah, right.
But
Or
he's heavily
like-
filtered, even in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at
Yeah.
the prequels, that's when he has less of a filter on, and
Right.
it is
No,
just
he's-
worse in every single
you're
way.
right,
It's
you're
the
right.
same
I
kind of
mean,
thing, but
you're
he
right.
like he focuses on the wrong part too much. It's the part that he likes, but
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, that's the thing. It's like he likes certain things. He likes certain things. He even
Yeah.
talks shit on this movie sometimes. He talks a lot
Oh,
of
yeah,
shit on
yeah.
the first one. He talks shit on this one. There are just parts he looks at and he's like, "Oh, I didn't want it to be like that," and it's like that,
Right.
and I like it. And you're like, "Dude, come on!" Like, that's what happens with literally everybody making art as a collaboration. You know,
Yeah, that's
he's like
true.
he's
And,
completely in his own head or something.
whatever, and whatever it is, as he's gotten further away from it, he's just not accepting of it. Right? He can't just let it be what it is, and
Yeah.
that's really too bad, because it really love to really like think so well of him now, and it's a little harder to do that because of this way that he's approaching his previous work makes that hard, and that's too bad. Because he deserves to be praised in all kinds of ways for what he accomplished. Because holy shit,
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's like it's singular. Well, there's like Walt Disney, or there's people like that have just created their own universe and empire, and it's just it's really amazing. And Star Wars, like the success of it was there, and so then there was this enormous pressure in a different kind of way that they didn't feel the first time. I don't know. Alec Guinness had this great quote in the book where he said, like, they were asking him to explain its success. And he said, well, it was a darn good story, dashingly told. And beyond that, I can't explain it. Failure has 1,000 explanations and success doesn't need one. So that was just a great little, I love
true.
Alec Guinness.
Was that was
True,
after
that's
the
true.
Empire? He said that.
That was after Star Wars. So,
Really?
I mean, because Star Wars was going, it was crazy. The amount of success it had, like it sold more tickets than any other movie besides Gone with the Wind.
Right.
Right. So it was hugely successful pretty quickly.
But it sounds so.
before
We
they
talked
started
about
to do
the
it.
last episode how
Yeah.
he had some bad words to say about Star Wars. And
That
George
was
Lucas.
much later in his life. Not George Lucas himself, I don't think, really.
Yeah, he
just-
thought George Lucas's dialogues and names were all pretty stupid.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right. You see, we hear. I'm sorry. Yeah, in his letters, I mean, and Alec is a really interesting figure. He seems so. I don't know if insecure is the right word, but he's always like grumpy and questioning either what he's doing or what other people are doing. And he's still this really fantastic, thoughtful seeming actor.
It's funny
So
how
I-
he's such a good actor, but whenever you hear
Yeah.
him talk, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, he's just himself in every role that he plays. He's just
Yeah,
I think that's
somehow.
most actors, though. I don't know.
Well, him
honestly.
especially, like he talks and you're like, that's Obi-Wan and the guy from River Kwai and
Right,
the guy
right,
And
from
this
Fossil.
guy, and that guy. Like,
Yeah,
he's just
yeah.
himself. Yeah.
But but Harrison Ford's kind of like that too, and I love it.
For
you know?
sure.
So it's just like
I mean,
You
Brad
know,
Pitt, he's like that.
Yeah,
he's
Harrison
the same
Ford-
shit every
Harrison
fucking.
Ford, yeah. Harrison Ford does this
DiCaprio's the
rascally
same. He
thing.
does the
Yeah.
same scream when he's upset in every fucking movie.
Lucas in the book said that like originally Obi-Wan was going to be like this desert rat kind of guy. He wasn't going to be noble at all. And he's like, well, but then since Alec got the part, I made him much more noble. so Alec, by who he was, basically shaped.
So what do you
that
think
character,
Alec
right?
Guinness's tryouts were like? Was he like, I don't know, like a rat person? Oh, John's
just-
got kids. He's got kids
they
going
just-
on.
Sorry.
They just gave him a.
Trying to figure out which one it is screaming. If it's mine, or we're like quarantined. I've got my daughter and my wife has my son because we're trying to. He got exposed to the virus, so we're trying to
Oh,
make sure
shit.
we both don't get it. So, but I think that's the boy screaming.
It's a lot of work.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Is it
Fuck
the
yeah.
right? Is it the good screaming for you, John? Are we good to go?
I'm good. I'm okay. Anyway, so that was. So you were saying something, but after I had talked about how George said he sort of like made him.
No,
more
it's
noble.
like,
And-
what do you think Alec Guinness's tryouts were like? Was he like, hey, I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm a rat.
I know.
person.
No, you're not here for
of course
Yoda.
not.
You're not
No,
here
he
for
was like,
Yoda. Yoda's
know.
the next
He was,
door.
I'm sure he's like, I'm here to audition for the role. I mean, he was just like, he was
It's like, this is what I do.
right?
Do you want this? Oh, you do want this. Okay.
Yeah,
We
good.
want?
I can do
No, we don't want.
Oh, TC didn't mention Yoda at all. What did you think of Yoda?
that. Yeah.
Yes, couldn't care less.
Really?
I'm surprised Yoda's as big of a focal point of the story as he is, because it doesn't seem like. I mean, I guess maybe it's hard to fucking take seriously because it's obviously just some mechanical thing talking to you. I don't know. I had like no feelings on Yoda. I was just like, he's just like a little. I think maybe it's because I thought Yoda was way more important to the story than he is.
Well, he is.
He's important, but he's not really because he's not the one doing the work. He's the one like shaping the work. He's like, it's like the Karate Kid, right? The kids didn't want to be, they didn't want to be the master. They wanted to be a Karate Kid, right? You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like, you know, it's like I think he just felt like not as important to me for some reason, even though.
But did you already know?
Really cool animatronics, I guess. I mean, it looked kind of fucking, puppet, whatever. It looked pretty good, I have to say. But yeah. I don't know. I just didn't get into it.
What about the turn like that? I mean, because he's there all being silly. You already knew he was the Jedi Master, so that wasn't like a surprise to you, right?
That wasn't a surprise.
Where he's like Grover at first, and then he's not. So
I mean, it was funny, but it was kind of. I mean, I don't know. It's just.
I was laughing. I forgot that he pretended to be an idiot in the first like half of him being on screen. I was laughing when he was like fighting with R2D2 and whacking him with a stick.
I think I just got screwed by pop culture and how they've dealt with Yoda and not.
Yeah.
Yeah, again,
form an opinion based on the movie. I had one already. I already had an opinion of Yoda beforehand, and I think it was hard.
And it was
to
a bitter opinion. Oh, you better believe it was.
Yeah, I mean, it was a better opinion before. Now it's just like this guy's just the help. Okay, but maybe I won't know that. Yeah, because he's the one that trained. Like he's the one that's going to train the person that's good. I mean, I always.
But you can't. I have
a problem with teachers though. In general,
with the Force, you can't learn the Force without a teacher.
Teachers teach because they can't do. That's exactly what I've always thought about all of it.
Don't you tell me what to do, Yoda. Don't you tell me what to do.
Especially when they start getting on their high horse about I know this more than you do. I'm like, well, you don't because you're not doing that. You're teaching me.
Did you see that guy lift the freaking ship out of the water? Come on, he's a doer.
He can lift shit. He's a doer. Yeah, right. No, I get it. It's just not the way that the story is being told, right? The doer is obviously the other person. So I don't know. It's just me being an asshole too.
It was. I think I loved it so much when I was younger. I loved his pattern of speech. I loved his like wisdom, to say things like "do or do not." There's no try, and the way he said it. Yeah. It's again hard to step back from it now and watch it and think what is it like. But I don't know. Yoda was so.
This is
cool
why John always starts the songs he writes off on 4 instead of 1. You know what I mean? He's writing backwards. He's like 4, 5, 1. No. You're supposed to start on 1. 1 is the 1. What are you doing, John?
I don't know about you, John, but I agree. I think I still love him from when I was a kid. I can kind of still see him as a real person. Like it's not hard for me to imagine him as like another real character in this movie. The way he looks.
That's awesome.
But I don't look at him and see like a puppet. Like Kermit the Frog, I'm like, that's a puppet. Miss Piggy is a puppet. Most of the people from the movie The Labyrinth are puppets, but like with Yoda, he seems like a real character just because he has like pretty good emotion. Like the way he talks, they have like serious back and forth conversations, and you can easily see the emotion in his face of like if he's disappointed or
that's true. With the eyes, the staring eyes,
and like the ears go up and down and stuff, and the eyebrows, and it's pretty.
So you thought he was real?
Good.
Is what you're saying?
I mean, I think he is real now. Like I hope that actor's still alive
in real life.
Frank Oz. So Frank Oz maybe. I don't know.
Frank Oz is alive. He was in Knives Out.
That's fair.
Oh,
well, now I can see why you guys are so bummed that like nothing happened for me. Nothing happened for me.
We talked about this.
Yoda.
Oh God, now I'm trying to remember.
Frank Oz was the will reading dude in Knives Out.
Wow.
So he's alive and well.
I did not carry over that damn connection. That's awesome.
Because Rian Johnson met Frank Oz when he was shooting the Star Wars movie, the second new one.
Oh, right. So, okay. Because it was going to be Jim Henson, but Jim Henson was too busy because they were doing the Muppet movie. And so he's like, well, I'll get my buddy Frank to do this. Mm-hmm. And then that's what happened. And the
Muppet studio was right across the street from the studio they were using for this movie while they were shooting the Dagobah scene. So just walk across the street.
Meanwhile, also Stanley Kubrick was trying to finish The Shining in another soundstage that they were using. As well. So
Stage 3 studios.
Yeah, Stage 3 that got burned. But there's stories about that too. I'm sure you got trivia on that one too.
I don't. So if you do, that'd be good.
Oh God,
I got lots of commentary trivia. Not a lot of related to this movie trivia.
You guys should do. One day we should go do a studio tour.
So they're awesome.
It doesn't matter. Pick one. They are fun, I have to say, because you get to see all like those things, and they have all those factoids.
Yeah. These were what were the stage that what is it? Elstree? It's called Elstree stages. It's very famous.
Are you saying L Street stages?
Elstree, yeah. Elstree or Elstreets? I thought Elstree, but I was typing like late at night, so
so this might be wrong.
So it might just be right.
Well, it's fax, not just like
fax me some
wrong. It's like there's
We're going
there's
straight
some
into trivia.
into it.
John, we're doing a weeknight, so
John's
John kicked us into
hijacking the
trivia.
podcast.
He barely even talked about how much he liked it. I haven't talked about it at all.
No, we haven't. We don't want you to talk about it because we don't. He didn't go to Wikipedia.
We'll go back to more trivia after.
We gotta
We're going to
talk
talk more
trivia.
about how I like it. Okay, I'm going to talk more about how I like it.
4 hours of trivia, I bet.
I love the Haas scene. The Haas scene is so iconic. It's like insane in terms of like the way they filmed it. The whole setup of the science fiction in the snow thing was just amazing. Love the all the asteroid flying scenes were like so spectacular when I was little. Like that just the way that the TIE fighters would hit the asteroid and then spin and hit another asteroid and blow up. Oh my, those scenes are still like, I remember like seeing those as a little kid going, wow.
But now, how do you feel? Like, is it still like blowing you away?
It still looks awesome, especially on the despecialized editions. I mean, Jesus, it still looks fantastic.
We all watched the despecialized editions, right?
Yeah. I mean, I searched it up for fucking hours.
Yes. God bless you, Harvey, and all
man?
of your friends, because it's amazing work.
I didn't do it that way. I found another one that was based on that. I think that thing is so annoying. That page pissed me off reading it. Oh, do you want the?
It was hard, dude. I had to call John up, and he had to walk me through it.
Give me the link, you would just fucking give me the link. I don't give a shit about your deed. Nobody cares but you, pal.
No, it's more about they're just saying, why are we doing it this way? This is the easiest way we can put this out here, and we don't want to make it that accessible because we don't want to get shut down.
Because you're a bunch of annoying, obnoxious Star Wars fans, which made me not want to see this fucking movie.
You can't talk shit on them anymore.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I was reading that being like, this is exactly why I didn't want to watch this fucking movie. There's people like them. What? Awful. I think,
awful
no thank
people
you, Will.
Like
fuck you. John loves you. I hate you.
I love you.
I love you too.
They're preserving history. They're preserving history.
And they're doing it in the most obnoxious way possible. There has to be a better way to do it, as far as I'm concerned.
I didn't feel any obnoxiousness about it. They're just like, here's what we did.
Because you've always been on their team, John. We've established this.
I'm paying them nothing. I didn't ask them to do this. They're figuring out some way to make it available, even if it's not the easiest way possible. It's still better than not having it be there.
Agreed.
It was better just to keep looking and avoid his entirely. I got that.
Well,
and they're saying that they don't want it to be widely available and easily accessible because then they may get shut down. They may come to too much attention if it's too easy.
It would have already been there. They would have already been there. The guy's got his name on everything.
Yeah.
If they were shutting him down, they would have figured out a more elegant solution so more people can watch it.
And there's no way they're ever getting rid of it, John, because these files exist on people's computers. They'll just upload it to different torrent sites.
Yeah,
I was so annoyed. You have no idea. I mean, I sent you guys that text.
Yeah.
Like, I was fuming. I was sitting here fuming. Like,
dude, I read the page and my eyes glossed over. I was like, I don't get it, John. I don't get it. And he had to call me and point me to the parts that mattered. And I was like, okay, I
got it. And then I was looking into the programs that do this thing for the Mac, and then I'm like, I'm not fucking doing it. I'm learning way too much shit. I should not have to learn to watch a fucking
Yoda. God damn it, Yoda! I'm just gonna go save my friends.
The fucking dark side's taking over. I don't give a fuck about this guy. I'm gonna go find it somewhere else. And then
I had a thought. I didn't buy a VPN this month, so I could download this shit legally. God damn it! But I did. Yeah, we all did, for the record.
All right. So anyway, before we got on that controversial sidetrack, so yeah, the Haas scene is still amazing. I think that the other thing that really struck me about the film is just the darkness of it. That I was really upset the way it ended when I was little, because I was like, no, Luke doesn't. You don't do that. Luke doesn't get his hand cut off.
I know, right?
You don't Han Solo doesn't get frozen, and we don't know. I was
I was surprised by that. I have to say, really surprised by that. I was like, wait, is he dead? They killed him already? Fuck. Oh, he had to do Indiana Jones. That's where my head went. I was like, oh, he had another movie. He had another thing to do. I get it. Anyway, sorry, John.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you though. I had the same type of feeling, a pit, like almost a pit in your stomach.
Yeah.
What?
I was a kid. I was really disturbed. Yeah, I mean, again, I really liked the movie, but I was pissed too at the end of it. I wonder how many people were kind of upset given that it's cliffhanger ending. Compared to the first film, it really is. The first film is all nicely wrapped up, and this one is definitely like, oh, there has to be a third now. And so I wonder if there was even amongst some of the initial fans that enjoyed it and went and saw a feel-good movie, and they would go and see Star Wars, and they're like, oh, well, that didn't make me feel good.
The critical reviews were not outstanding initially. At the very least.
Yeah.
But I mean, people
But,
paid to go see it again and again. So there's.
Oh, it was wildly successful still. I mean, right. But the other thing, Billy Deal Williams is so cool. He was,
What's his name?
Is it Billy D. Williams?
Yeah. It sounded like you said Billy Deal Williams.
Billy D. BLDL, BDDWW. Anyway,
Sure.
Oh, shit. He's running out of gas, everybody. Oh, no.
That's
Right.
it. Get him a coffee. He's done.
Don't question me, young man. You're just going to derail me.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, he's really cool. He's sort of like, he's like a nice, an additional charismatic guy, kind of like Han is. Yeah, I don't know. Everything about the film is great. And it's just such a great next step. And it's so different, yet it's the same characters and has the same spirit in a way. So it doesn't feel like it's a different, the film has a different tone to it, but it still feels like, yes, this is the next Star Wars film. This like makes sense. It works. Largely probably because there's a lot of Lucas's influence there. I get, he was just like there on set. He didn't go to Norway, but when they were filming on stage, he was there and he was just kind of standing over there. And the director was just saying, people were like asking if it was bothering him. And he's like, no, because he's helpful. He's like, we disagree. Right. They do like 2 shots if they disagreed and figure it out later. But it's like, yeah, it was more like there was this guy who's kind of like the good producer. And that's what the role they were talking about, how Lucas was in that role where he was just going everywhere and trying to help make the right decision and guide people if they weren't sure what to do. And apparently he was all the time very nice about it. And they said too, this came up quite a bit in the book, that Lucas hated telling people what to do. He hated like doing that director's job where you direct and you tell them what to do. He just wasn't comfortable with that kind of thing.
Which he's still not, which is why he's still revisiting these fucking things over and over and over.
Even though he has this vision in his head and knows how he wants it to be, he's not somebody who likes to boss people around either. He seems like a super nice guy, actually. Like
his dad gave him a fucking smack in the ass once, and he remembers it as a hug.
Maybe,
he just continues through his life that way.
He's got that. Don't hurt me, Daddy. What, George?
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
You could actually alter your versions of reality if you just keep doing it all the way through. It's exactly.
But, I mean, the percentages he would give people on the film, he didn't have to do a lot of it, and he just did. I mean, he took very good care of the people that worked on this. So it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, because he knew he was just going to redo their work anyway. I don't know. You're doing a great job there, Stan.
Yeah.
So confusing, right?
Yeah, don't worry. Holly.
As soon as the movie was profitable, the first $5 million worth of profit he gave to everybody. He split it up amongst everybody on the crew and cast. That's the first thing he did.
That's awesome.
It's fucking amazing. Awesome. But then he screwed the movies up later. So I mean, fuck you, George.
Yeah,
I get
it.
Guy loves a tuna sandwich. Doesn't
he
give
never
a shit.
had to
Doesn't
do
eat a
any
steak
of that.
dinner.
And he was like, it wasn't like he was like sitting there rolling in money and could just give it away either, because he was always like turning around and sinking more money into bigger projects.
Yeah, he doesn't need money.
He wanted to have this ranch
thing,
to where it would be like this place where directors could be, and it could be like sort of an art school, but for people that were like beyond art school. And just, I don't know. It's just kind of amazing. And I really, it makes really hard to understand sort of the later aspect of things, but it's like,
he's off his rocker.
He is, but it's still not necessarily even now.
Such a row of good decisions in his career, like 10 straight years of the best decisions with some of the best ideas of anybody that's ever lived, right? He has
and it seems like it's all because he has good intentions and wants to make the art. It's the best fucking part. Yeah, it's very respectable. It's just fucking weird when you start reopening all your shit. And I can see why people are like, I don't get it. I don't get how you go from A to B. And the guy's like, yeah, well, that's just my life. And they're like, fucking no.
And even
he thinks the art is his. He doesn't think it's ours, which is the weirdest thing. Because it's not that it's the opposite way is like correct. It's not, everyone thinks it's correct because it's the nice thing to do for the masses, but it's not like inherently the correct way to do it. And he just thinks the opposite way.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
And
he's totally fine if he wants to have his own specialized editions. Totally fine,
for
no
himself.
Big deal.
Yeah,
right.
For himself.
Or to release.
That's what they call the director's cut.
Yeah,
right. But don't take away the other things. That's the only piece. He could say whatever he wants, but to try to not have those others be available, he is like taking something away from us.
It's a weird thing. It's called being an adult.
It's really fucked up. There's nothing else like it.
Right?
In any part of art, there's nothing else like what he's doing.
But there's something else, because like even Elaine just came out with like a whole fucking spiel about how she's embarrassed by the kicks move she made in Seinfeld, right?
What?
Think about it. Yeah, so she's
really?
really upset. She's really embarrassed by it. I guess now all of a sudden it's become a thing for her. But I guess what it happens is that these people they're around a conversation with a bunch of people that have power, and they're like, I don't like this. It's really affecting me. And someone's like, let's fucking change it. And he's like, let's fucking change it. And they do, and then no one goes, you shouldn't do that. And then they just keep doing it, and there's no one to check them. But the power of like looking back at something that you really find to be either embarrassing or shitty or tough or upsetting, and having a following of people that are yes people, you just don't have the same reality that me and you are in anymore, right? Like we're not in that world where we can just like have an opinion and someone goes, fucking A, right, do it, let's do it.
Right, and it may be like even on these on their prequels, and like and again, this was all very painful. He talks over and over again about how this wasn't fun for him. Like he was, Star Wars in particular was really painful.
Yeah, well, we live in a world where nobody can feel pain anymore. So let's redo the video.
Yeah, right, well.
Let's talk about this. We're gonna have a sit-down discussion. You know what I mean? Like that's just. We're trying to. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just need to finish stuff. We're trying to basically argue about stuff that we can never understand about people. Yeah. And he's just a weirdo. That's why he came up with Star Wars.
He's a weirdo.
But at the same time, I'm a little annoyed that I have to like go through all these motions to watch the better versions.
Yep.
Because they're clearly the better versions.
Yep.
So like I don't know what
I will
what
say
to
though.
Say about that.
I did so. I watched the specialized version. Sorry, I'm going to keep going on this tangent. But with the commentary tracks, you have to watch the special versions because that's where the commentary tracks live. This movie is way better than A New Hope. There are barely any changes, and then like Boba Fett has
way better in terms of the specialized versus the non-specialized.
Yeah, I barely noticed anything. I noticed there was an extra shot of Boba Fett's ship. I noticed there was some additional special effects, like in the corridors of the Cloud City. There was the worst part was the approach to the Cloud City was a different shot. Like they had a shot in the original version. It was different and it was all CG and it looked like shit. And Boba Fett's voice is Australian now because they used the Boba Fett they used in like another version of Star Wars that was after this one. I don't even know which one that would be, but it was like a more recent voice actor they redubbed.
Really?
Oh,
weird.
And also what they did too was they redid the Emperor scene, the hologram of the Emperor.
Oh, yeah.
Because
shit.
You'll see in the next movie, TC, they had a different actor and a different look for the Emperor. So they
No
redid
way.
it to make this one look like that one.
Weird.
Yeah. Which doesn't really bother me too much because that's
it's such an insignificant change.
Yeah. But I mean, everything else, this movie it's weirder because it's so much smaller in terms of what you can change. Like The New Hope, there's a lot of opportunity for him to like add CG creatures and shit. But this one, there's not that much room for that.
Not as much. Yeah, you're right. Except for those flying things.
I don't know how much workshopping went on the script, but holy cow, so many writes and rewrites, and they like hired like three different people to do the script writing. And George
wrote the original one, right? And then he hired a sci-fi writer who died as she was working on it.
Right.
Really famous sci-fi writer.
Jesus
So
Christ.
she brought the script to a point. And then right when it was like the same week that he got the news that screenwriter died.
Right.
The
that
guy
was
who
Leah
wrote,
Brackett, by the way. And she brought back the script and he didn't like it. I mean, he didn't know that she was like ill and she was in the hospital by the time that he got to looking at the script that she wrote. And she was right. She did like stuff for Robert Altman and Alfred Hitchcock. And written books on her own. But Lucas and Kershner weren't really, neither of them liked the script that she handed back. But he ended up giving her, he said, I think the right thing to do is to give her credit still, even though they feel like really legitimately she wouldn't need credit for the script. But he puts her in as a script writing credit all the same. He felt like that was the right thing to do. Just another example of what a good guy George is.
Yeah.
But then the guy they hired after that, it was like the same week that she died. The guy who wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark came in with the finished screenplay, dropped it on George's desk. And then he's like, hey, even before he read it, George was like, hey, let's go on a meeting. And then he like gave him the idea for Empire. And he's like, this sounds great. What if you don't like, it's like, how can you give me this job already? You don't even know if you like Empire. Or sorry, if you don't like Raiders of the Lost Ark. And he's like, well, I'll read it tonight and I'll fire you tomorrow if I don't like it.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So then that guy is the guy who finished the script to this movie.
Hey, yeah. Don't worry, pal. I'll tell you to go fuck yourself at any time of day. I don't care.
And that's Lawrence Kasdan.
That was it Kazan? What was his name?
Kasdan.
Lawrence
Kasdan. I don't know.
Don't these Hollywood stories just kind of irk you a little bit, though?
No, I think it's awesome. It's like some people just get fucking lucky. Like people just like fall into the machine, and some of them turn around and around and around and have a career, and some of them get shot out and never get invited back in.
And then someone does this.
Well, they were
Yeah,
constantly
yeah,
like looking for
I guess.
people
I don't know.
outside of mainstream Hollywood in terms of like the people that were running the stuff. So yeah, Larry Kasdan. Again, reading the book was great just because it shows how they went and like found different people and what were the reasons why they got and how they ran into people. And oftentimes it was just like, hey, do you know a guy who we're looking for a guy? Then they would just sort of ask around about giving kind of the things they know.
They filmed a lot of they got a lot of British actors to be on the set, and what the director Kershner wanted to do was have the bad guys be British accented people and the good guys to be American accented. But they hired so many British people that they had to put the British people on the good guy side, but then they dubbed over American accents on those guys to make it clear who was good and bad.
Holy shit, huh?
But John, we're getting into trivia again. What else you got?
Sorry, there was so much.
We got 4 hours to go, folks.
I know. That's I can sort of wrap up. And I mean, again, I don't know. It's hard for me to pick like just between the two that we've watched so far, which one I love more. I'm a big fan of the first just because how it sets the stage for everything. And they're just so different. I still love the first one just because of how much fun it is. You
use the fun word, huh?
Yeah, I know. I can use it.
It's been a while.
I've tried to stop using it, but that's all I want to do in life.
It's just so fun. It's just
That's
like,
it.
it's fun. It's just
Fun.
It's fun.
It's a 3-letter little word. It means so much.
Do you guys have fun? Because that's what this movie is.
That's what life is about. Did you have fun?
No. It's die, I think is the word. D-I-E.
No, you have fun, then die. But if you die, you have
fun, die. That's a good way to go.
Yeah.
That's not
Fun
bad.
die. Sure.
That
Anyways.
fun die sounds like a
break it
Korean
down,
car
you know.
make.
Fun.
But anyway,
that's
so
a good dad joke right there.
We're a tie-dye company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun die. We're a
Fun die.
dad joke company. All right.
Yeah. Anyway. But that's all. As far as like, let's get to your take on the film, Danny.
Oh wait,
and then
who's
we get
Danny?
rid of
I
the
didn't
book.
even know he
Oh.
had an opinion here. I thought
do.
he just did
Yeah,
trivia.
I guess I'll kind of keep going where you're talking, John, just to compare this one with the first one. This one does a lot better than the first one, and the first one does a lot better than this one. Like, it's kind of hard. I couldn't pick which one I like more. I think the first one leaves me more satisfied just because the ending is wrapped up. It is sad. It is unsatisfying when they're staring at the window at the galaxy when they're like, all right, the adventure is beginning now. What did I just watch?
Right.
Like, that was good, but like, I feel so unsatisfied. Like, Han is frozen. Luke is freaking armless or whatever.
Yeah.
But
he's
I mean,
all like sad. He's like betrayed because Ben didn't tell him the truth, and he's all messed up.
and this movie isn't nearly as funny as the first one. There's not as many good buddy moments.
That's it. Oh yeah.
There's not. There's
I wrote
definitely
that down
not.
too.
Yeah.
It doesn't have this sort of like road trip humor kind of that. Yeah.
And
That's a
even
good way
like
to put it.
C-3PO and R2-D2 don't seem like they're separated the entire movie. Like the first movie, they're they're together, and then this one they're completely separate. And that's like part of the thing I don't like either is that we'll get into this for like the Two Towers too. But like once the gang breaks up and they're separated, it's impressive the way they go back and forth between the stories and keep everything super easy to follow and cohesive and have all the different like suspenseful plot points like stay suspenseful as they're going to different places. But that is just inherently less satisfying because like these people you like and you know they want to be together, they're not together.
Yeah.
So it's like
It was very TV oriented though. Like the little wipes that they did a lot. It just reminded me of being like I can imagine that television took a lot from this movie because I just felt like you always do that in TV, right? There's always multiple plots. You got to go in between them, and there'd be some times where I'd be in the story and then I would like wipe to the other story, and I'm like, oh, that's TV 101 right there. That's totally not a movie.
That's the thing. So this one, they do this. I don't know. I think as much in the first one, The New Hope, the one we watched 2 weeks ago. They do it as much, and it's taken from Kurosawa movies. But I think it's definitely more noticeable in this one because the transitions are so much harder because you're moving from like a completely different point in space.
Outside to inside.
Yeah, you're not following. Like, the first one's one
Or
linear
you're following
story.
different characters.
Yeah, and even in the first one, even if you jump from like Darth Vader and Leia to Luke and them, it's still like the central story is in the center of everyone, and they're all following the same narrative line. Whereas in this one, you have two. Like at the very least two, right? You have Luke's story, and then you have Han and Leia's story with the Millennium Falcon and stuff. And they are completely separate from each other. What they're trying to do are separate. I mean, Luke is trying to get training, and Han is trying to escape. That's the story. Han can't escape the entire movie, so then Luke goes and interrupts his thing and goes and helps. That's like the...
And they both want to kiss the chick.
Yeah.
And they both, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you bare bones, it's
Kind
television show.
of a silly story, actually.
Yeah.
And then it all takes in space. Okay, George, that's it? Yeah, that's
Like,
it. Is that good?
Thank
That's it,
God
yeah.
they had the backbone of the last movie for this one because
Yeah.
like a lot of this stuff is kind of just like pointless.
George's
Verbal.
real skill. I mean,
But
that
it's
is
still
dumb.
good.
But George can come up with words like Dagobah and Hoth. I mean, that's where his talent comes in.
Well, I mean,
Great
Yeah,
freaking names.
okay.
He
Yeah.
has some really bad names, as we've talked about before, too. So, I mean.
Not
yeah.
a lot. I don't know. What was the bad one in this one? This one's full of
there
good
were,
ones.
there weren't. Well, no, we didn't have. I mean, Porkins was the clear clunker in Star Wars. that was a mistake.
But they figured out that was true and they killed him off immediately. So that was fine.
Yeah, like, what's your name again? Yeah,
that
he's
was in
dead.
the editing room. It was like, we're going to kill this guy, right? His name sucks.
Yeah. He can't be an ongoing character. Wedge, we'll keep Wedge. Wedge is all right. Wedge Antilles, yeah, that's good. Porkins, no. Porkins is good. He's going
No
down
one
in
likes a
flames.
pig.
Yeah.
No one likes a pig.
No,
Boba
this
Fett,
is more.
fucking
No.
sweet name.
Later on, later on, the names are terrible. But you're right. In this series, actually, he's pretty damn good at it.
Yeah.
He'd talk about how you just write down names to use.
Well, the thing
later.
was, he had all
Right.
the terrible names too. He wrote most of it before he made these movies and had like the whole backstory kind of in his head with names. And he had
Now that I was not getting the impression, especially the way that they were writing the script. So I think maybe there was. I think he had like potentials and possibilities.
a lot of it, at least in the commentary for The New Hope, I think by this point he knew. So this was like during the part when he was talking about restructuring the script because he wrote these 3 movies as one movie initially. But the way that movies worked, he figured out because the script he wrote was like, what was it, 200 pages long? I'll have to
Right.
listen back
So-
to the episode,
so-
but it was really
so
long,
there
so
were-
we had to cut it down to make one movie.
Right. But there were a lot of components that are just. I mean, again, that Darth Vader was his father. That was something that was decided upon as this script was being written. That was not something
Right.
that was.
I'm
known
just talking
beforehand,
about
right?
pure names. He
right.
gave.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He
So, yeah.
gave like was it Steven Soderbergh? It was somebody like that, like who was his friend, who was his like a writer, gave him the script and just like he removed the stupid names.
Right.
But then George put him back in the prequels because George is a confusing character. That's I don't know. He thought they were bad then, but I am obviously brilliant, so I'm gonna use them again.
Right. General
Yeah.
Grievous, Planet Naboo. Here we
Hey,
go.
I gave that guy $2
What are they called?
million.
What are the
I'm
what are
putting
the
the names back in.
What's the force made out of, John? I forget the name. That's the,
Midichlorians.
there you go. Minochlorians. Stupidest freaking name ever. Anyway, but
As opposed to
More.
what, like Klingons or
Yeah,
No,
fucking
little things
any of
in
the
your
other
little
dumb
things.
things?
they're
Little
like
things in your
thetans.
blood.
You know,
I
like
don't know. It's
Scientology, they're like thetans.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, the special effects are better in this movie. The biggest difference in this movie, like the sword fight in A New Hope versus the sword fight in this one is 100 times better. It's
Right.
fucking awesome. It's like the highlight of the movie almost, if not like
Yeah.
the Hoth scene is awesome too. That scene is also better than the final starfight scene, just because like of the way everything looks, the way it actually gives you a sense of where people are for the most part. Like the other one, it's kind of scattered where you don't really know.
I still love the starfighter scene.
No,
I still think
everything is
like,
good,
you know,
John. It's
yeah,
all
I know,
good.
I know. You're
Just
right. That's
blanket
true. That's
statement.
right.
I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
comparing it's really hard to compare them, like, which one's better because this one does so much better. But
Right. That's fair.
it's just,
It
the-
did seem more cohesive
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
general, this second one, yeah. I mean, like I said, everything felt like more.
yeah.
Just like take
And it
everything from
pulls it off.
before and amplify it to 11. if
And
you
it
will.
gives
Not
it
to
gives
10,
like
to
human
11.
emotions, like what C-3PO and R2-D2 and Chewbacca were all like caricatures of themselves a little bit. It's like
Oh,
you
I
get
was so glad they shut their C-3PO up. Jesus fucking Christ.
But here
I was
they-
with the, I
they're
was with the
sad.
characters like, shut him up. Shut him up.
He is annoying, but he's not. Still think he's pretty funny. I'm not annoyed
He's
with
funny,
him yet.
but like, calm down, dude. You're a fucking robot. Like, at some point, even the audience, like for me, at some point, I was like, dude, at some point, even I don't believe that this would happen. Like, you can't, like, he's too over the top with human emotion. It's not even real. Like, if it's an android that's they've programmed to be that way, sure, I could get it. But like, this guy might as well be the most annoying friend you have.
I liked it
I
at
heard
the
this
end
guy
when
a million times.
when Luke
you
walked
know?
in, when they were doing, I forget what they were doing, but Luke was in the ship and he walked up into the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon and Han turned around. He was ready to like kick him out because he was so used to C-3PO like barging
Yeah.
in, but he saw it was Luke
Yeah.
and he just like, okay,
Yeah.
you can be here.
My favorite part was when she shut 3PO off.
Yeah,
She was just
that was
like,
pretty
I was
funny.
like, thank you.
I love it how
thank
you
God.
see his head in the background when they're having a little
Oh,
moment together and
he's
it's just
breathing,
C-3PO's
too.
head in the back.
yeah.
Well, you can see him breathing.
Yeah, you could.
As
Naomi
the
pointed that out.
actor.
She's like, look at his head, it's
Yeah.
moving.
He's
I was like,
breathing
oh,
the
shit,
whole
you
time.
can.
I was like, dude, I would have been pissed if I was the director. Like, hold the breath in. You've just got to do it for 10 seconds at a time. We talked about this. The guy's breathing the whole time. He's probably watching Greatness. That's why. You know,
He's probably
watching,
asleep
like, oh my
in there,
God.
dude. He's probably not even awake.
He's like, I'm so dead.
He's
I'm
like,
so
all right,
dead.
my day is to sit like this and nap. I'm just gonna nap.
Or no, he's so hot he just passed out from heat exhaustion. Now he's
all right, we can't tell him not to breathe because if he's not
That's
breathing,
a good
he might
point.
be dead.
No, we tried
right.
to tell him not to breathe, and he is not responding. So we'll sound the alarm yet. We still have to get the shot. Holy fuck. I don't know. That C-3PO man was annoying as fuck in this one. I'm glad they shut him up.
Yeah.
But again, at the same time, I understand what you're saying. Like, I love when he's on screen. It was just sometimes I think maybe as the second one, I just kept trying to chalk it away as like, oh, they're trying a little bit too hard on certain bits and pieces because they're trying to make this as epic as the first one, even though they don't really know what they did on the first one. So now it's like epic and nobody knows it. So like, we brought in the good guy, we brought in this guy stepped away. We're going to fucking put all our effort in. And then like, sometimes you have these moments where it's too much.
The film was so much more serious and darker that they really pushed C-3PO to be the comic relief.
And it just ended up being too much.
Yeah.
So listening to the director talk about it, he's a weird dude.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
He did try to add a lot more comedy into the movie that I think it actually came off that way. Because I mean, listening to him talk about scenes and how he thought it was funny, it's like, I don't think this is funny at all. I don't know anybody who thinks this scene is funny. But he's like, oh, it's funny. The box fell on Han's head. Ha ha! Isn't that glitz? Classic. And I'm like,
yeah, that's what my grandfather did that joke once. I remember that bit. Had died with him in 1960. You fuck, you know. Holy shit.
So his sense of humor is
I don't
weird.
know, but you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I love this movie.
I love this movie too. It's really. I mean, is there even a point to compare them?
No,
they complement each other really well.
I think if this one did
very
the same,
different
the
movies.
reason I love the first one, if this one did the exact same thing and tried to do it better, I think it would have failed. It would have failed, right?
Yeah.
You can't do the same kind of everyone's together, it's funny and action packed thing. That would get boring.
Right. Like all the expectations, you can't do that.
Yeah,
it's not going to be good. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's pretty awesome how they did this one.
It was not what I was expecting, but I was pleasantly surprised and happy as soon as it ended. Not in a way of like wanting it to end, but just being like, I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
So that that it did its fucking job as the secondary movie to the most brilliant thing that might have ever been made. Yeah, you better quote me on that one there, fuckfaces, because I ain't coming back anytime soon. I'll tell you that much. Fucking hell, man. Giving credit where credit's due. Shoo. Yeah, this is a great time. I feel like an idiot waiting so long. But it was because those assholes making those fucking stupid RAR files.
Blame the people. Yeah, blame the fans, dude.
They were putting the thing together and all they did. Oh, Jesus Christ. You'd take one look at that kid from afar and you'd be like, I don't want to be that kid's friend. So I'm upset that I let other people ruin a great piece because this movie, the second movie was as fun, if not more fun than the first one. John. Just doing your reference for you.
Fun. You said fun.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're right. And so I'm just fucking. There's no comparing them between the two, 1 and 2, and I'm looking forward to the third one. Fuck, man, what a series! What a series, guys.
TC, would you put it at the top? No, don't answer that question yet. We still have another hour to go before we go to the trivia.
Okay.
TC, I got a couple questions here for you guys.
Of course, I would.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Was Dax
quiz time?
Was Dax already dead when Luke abandoned him to the
Who's Dax?
Dax was we're getting squished. The guy in his pilot, the guy who was behind Luke in the first thing where he gets shot and the thing explodes and Luke abandons him to get crushed.
Right. But Luke looks like he's trying to pull him out.
No, Luke is getting he's getting a grenade off of him is what he's getting.
Oh, is that what he's doing?
That's what he reaches and pulls a grenade out because he knows what he wants to do.
Oh, I thought it sort of looked like he was trying to pull him out and he gave up on that.
I thought so too, but you can see him diving out of there with a grenade in his hand.
Yeah, well, he was also like, "Oh, I'm going to try to get you out, buddy. Oh, nope, not going to be able to. Well, at least just take this grenade."
Now he's like, "Oh, you got grenades, bud? Give me one of those. Fuck you."
Yeah.
See you later.
It's war.
Don't worry about him.
I didn't think it was obvious that
he was dead already.
Right?
Oh, I thought it was obvious that
I think he was dead. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is like it's a PG movie. You never know. It just like knocks you out, laser blast to the face. Maybe you're okay. I don't know.
Maybe all those stormtroopers get up after they do a flip and fall down on the floor by getting shot once.
What's the point of all the armor if everyone has the same gun and the armor doesn't protect them?
Right.
That's a great fucking question, Denny. I have no idea.
Is one laser shot and you drop like a rock.
It fucking burns. Ow!
Hey, so guys, I don't know about you. I know we hate each other, but like, how come what we're wearing doesn't help? And the other guy
because it looks fucking
know.
sweet, dude. That's
but
why.
like yours looks better. Like you guys are gonna make something called the iPhone one day. And the guy's like, yeah, well, you guys are gonna have Droid. Yeah, well, I mean, really, Denny, that's a fantastic question. If the fucking armor doesn't work, why y'all wearing it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe it's
That's
like old
fucking
school
good.
army uniforms where they can't build armor to protect themselves, but it's just like sides or something.
Dude, a red bandana just makes means you're worse. Yeah, right.
I know.
What is Darth Vader doing in that little cube he's got there? That little octagon.
Oh, he's
He's
stroking it. That's what I thought.
Can't say it
He's
didn't pass
in
through my
there
head
just-
too. It's his little masturbation
He's
chamber.
just
Yeah.
in there, just
That's
fucking
like-
Mia Khalifa all over in fucking
Oh my
360
God.
degrees, just stroking away, cranking it in the
That's
corner.
that did not cross my mind.
That's
while
why
you
he
were
always
doing
looks
that.
pissed off when the captains come and make him open
He's
it.
like, Luke, I'm your father, and I'm also like a lot of other things for these material, these fucking computers. Because Jesus Christ, I'll tell you, there's a lot of sperm. A lot of sperm. I'm telling you.
Do you have
man,
any?
the
Do you have
only-
any adult thoughts there,
Yeah.
John?
No.
Come on, Danny,
Nothing?
don't leave me hanging like that. I know that's what you were thinking.
It passed across my mind. It was one of the options I came up with.
Really?
Yeah. What else could he be doing in there?
I don't know. I thought it's like he has to go
Notice that
there
he-
for like medical treatment or something.
Notice that he
like,
shuts it when
it's
other
like-
people show up.
it's
Full
like his home
privacy,
base.
full privacy.
Yeah, so like the suit keeps him alive, but he has to like be recharged. Like so that's like a medical facility is what I kind of thought it was. Like,
It's
but I
digital
don't know.
Viagra. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Boing, he sits down. Ding.
That shot of his head, by the way,
Go
is
away.
so awesome in this movie.
Yeah.
Just giving you like the slightest
was not
glimpse of.
expecting it.
Because TC, did you even think about what he looked like underneath the helmet before you saw that shot?
I did, but I didn't think of it until I thought about it a lot more as soon as I saw that shot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait, what? What's wrong with him? Oh, he's been
Yeah.
sitting here jerking it way too long. Just cranking away every time he cranks it. He
Oh
gets
my
in the
God.
cigar in his
I
head.
knew 100%. I would have bet money, John, that that's where it was going when I asked the question.
Yeah.
I never really understood what was going on in the cave in Dagobah. Is it a hallucination? Did Yoda build a robot of Darth Vader? Like,
Oh, right. That's a good question. I know exactly what you mean. I was very confused by this. What do you mean? Vader just comes out and he decapitates him? No, that's
like
not
it kind of
real.
looked like a robot head because it
a dream
exploded when he hit it.
sequence?
But then, like, his
Yeah.
face was in like
It's
Luke's
son's
face.
face.
It also
Yeah.
isn't very obvious that it's Luke's face in there.
That's fair.
right.
So is this like a? It was pretty obvious that it was Luke's.
It was,
face in
okay.
my opinion, yeah, but I don't understand. Is it just what all the other TV shows take from now, and they go into like that like ceremony where someone does drugs and they lose their shit, and like they go into that world, right? Where like
Maybe.
it's not actually real; it's just a dream sequence based on like some sort of thing someone ate. I mean, he did eat out of that porridge thing, whatever that was. It could have just
Yeah.
been drugs.
Yeah,
Put him
yeah.
into the
Mhm.
fucking.
Little peyote
I mean,
kind
honestly,
of thing.
because I thought about it too. Because I was like, "What do you mean? This is like a world that Yoda has. That's how he trades." So Obi-Wan's over there doing the same trading. So all these
So
things
Obi-Wan's a
cross
ghost
my
and
mind.
he's real.
Yeah.
And then we get a robot Darth Vader. He's fake.
So A existed, B existed, B's not dead, A's dead. What the fuck's with the thing? Is this guy drunk? What is going on right now? How does he know that Vader would be Vader then, but then he wasn't Vader before when Obi-Wan was trained? So how did Yoda train him? But what? Yeah, all these things went on in my head, and then it just got to wow, he's really just sitting there cranking it, huh? So no, Denny, I'm just trying to lighten up the
So,
mood.
John, this is
Denny-
I can see in John's face that you have no idea either.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
no one
I
has a
know
clue.
that they're supposed to like trying to hint at like the sort of the dark side of the Force and how Luke's going to have to somehow face it, that he can be, whether it's anger or weakness or whatever, that he could turn into Vader. He could, and that's the worrisome thing. So I think they were trying to get at that, but it seemed I didn't read up specifically on what they were exactly trying to accomplish there. I mean, what would happen if he got in there without his weapons? What would that's what Yoda told him to do, is to put your weapons down. He's like, fuck you.
Put your weapon down.
Yeah.
He would have been like stricken down like Obi-Wan in the first one, and then he would have passed the test because it wasn't real or something.
I don't know what would have happened, but that would have been interesting. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just like there's this place where there's like a pit in the ground where there's the evil. Why? Why is it there? Why is like their evil force there?
Do
they always have to put something in that seems like it's swimming around like a snake?
It did
I don't want to see that.
When I was a kid, that part
because it's always
scared
creepy,
me.
TZ. Always.
I know it's always creepy. It's Jesus Christ, I hated that part.
Yeah, I didn't understand that scene, but I do remember being very scared by it when I was little.
Dude,
I mean,
it confused me. Definitely, I was like, wait a minute, they're already having them fight. Like, what the fuck? How did Darth Vader get to Dagobah? What's going on?
Hey, now he's
He's dead. He just killed him.
He's dead.
What's happening?
He killed himself. What?
What's with the fog? Why aren't they? What is going on here?
Here's
Why does
a
it look
question.
like we're in Florida?
I got another question for you
Yeah.
guys.
Ooh, question to another question.
I don't think it's a very good lesson that Yoda's trying to teach Luke, that when Luke is trying to go save his friends, that
you shouldn't save
that
him
you
because you're
shouldn't
not done
save
with your
your
training.
friends. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not really applicable to anything in real life because he has special powers and he's being trained. But I mean, it
Was
is
that part of the
it's trying to be
training,
moral
though?
in some way.
But was the training for him to leave? He actually was supposed to leave.
It wasn't.
No,
I don't
that
think
doesn't
so.
make sense. But it could be
because they're
right?
talking
the training
about
could
as
be
he's
that like
leaving.
you're supposed to trust
That's what I
yourself
thought.
and be yourself.
But so then we watched
you
it
leave.
again, and Naomi pointed out that as he's leaving, when he can't hear them anymore, him and Obi-Wan are talking, and Obi-Wan's like, "Dude, I told you, you fucked up," or something. Like they're talking about how disappointed they are and how
But isn't
he's
that
lost.
part of the play? While he's still there, he can kind of hear.
He's
he
flying
can't
away.
hear. He's flying away, but you never know with the Force. You
That's
might hear.
true, maybe.
Oh,
I don't know. They seem
It's-
legitimately disappointed that he was
It's
leaving. But
no.
it's like,
It's a good question because it doesn't really make any sense.
No.
It's a bad message if it's taken literally. If it's not supposed to be taken literally, it's not obvious.
I think it is. So it's like George meant it to be taken literally, but it is weird because there's a line where Yoda says something to the effect of like, Luke is asking him what he thinks if like he should let his friends die, and
Right.
Yoda says like, if you believe in what they're fighting for, yeah. But I'm like, well, shouldn't a real test be like, don't blindly fight for a cause? Like, think about the people that you love and like fight for them. Isn't that the better lesson here? As opposed-
No, Denny, that's not the lesson.
Don't you think you
That's
could
what
more
they're
easily
saying.
be turned to the dark side if you just followed a cause?
right.
But if
Well,
you had
the thing
compassion for
is-
people that you knew, then you were more likely to
Right.
like be on the light side or whatever.
Much better put
It's
than
not
what
that
I
they're
was
right.
thinking.
So,
but
there's a couple of things there. Like one is like Luke is the last Jedi that they know of.
well,
there's
there's
I
one
know.
more, as Yoda says.
There is another, but okay, there's two. It's a pretty big
No,
universe to have only two. So they pretty much knew if Luke goes, he wasn't ready to face Vader. They knew that Vader was drawing him to a trap. They knew that it's very likely that either Luke gets turned to the dark side or he dies. And in the movie, in the terms of the outcome, Luke is insanely lucky that he doesn't die.
Another
Right.
question is,
Yeah,
how the
right.
fuck doesn't he die? But we'll get to that in a second.
Right. So let's say that. So they're doing two things. Like one, they're trying, you might even say that it's not necessarily, they're trying to preserve their order. And they feel like having a Jedi will really, having another Jedi would change the whole conflict. So that Luke is more important than his friends. Him being alive is more important than his friends for the cause of the rebellions, for overthrowing the Empire. Having a fully trained Jedi does more than having his friends be alive.
Yeah, but wouldn't they
was-
not be there if that friend didn't exist in the first place? Like they wouldn't be at that point. Like it doesn't make any
I know.
sense.
And
The
how would
logic
he,
is
if
so
his
flawed.
friends died, do you think he'd be able to not be angry all the time and he'd go to the dark
Sure,
side?
right,
Like,
right.
shouldn't they
Then
think
he
about
would
that?
go to the dark
Yeah,
side, right?
like this
'Cause he
is
let his
such
friends
flaw.
die.
There's so many
Yeah,
flaws
yeah.
in this logic.
That's a good point.
It's insane.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird how it's like there's so much depth there, and he's created so much depth, but then the plot is just like, no, it's just because they want to win. They want a fighter for the winning. That's all they want.
No, but
That's
the
it.
thing that happens is on the diners on Tuesdays for people is they go in to have coffee. They want to win. That's it. That's all it is. People want to be
Well,
winners.
no, they also just thought it was going to be a
Like
hopeless cause
simple
for him
shit,
to
right,
go.
Daddy?
For him to go, it was just going to be a waste. They were already captured. He was going to die if he went there. And they had a pretty good sense that that the odds were pretty high there. By the way, odds, that's another thing that pisses me off. I hate it when the robots talk about odds.
700,000 to 1. Like, fuck off.
What do you know? Just because you're a machine doesn't mean you can spout statistics about anything.
If I smack you, will you give me a different figure? You know what I mean? Like,
he's a language robot. He's not a freaking everything statistics robot.
Even if you were, how do you
go fuck yourself? I'm
how
not
do you
listening
know?
to you, you know?
I don't know. I just like, what do you mean? You know exactly what the odds are of me surviving this asteroid.
He's got that Darth Vader Wi-Fi dude collecting data from all over the galaxies.
He's got He's got that's right. He's got the AWS fuel fucking.
You got the 1 Gbps, you got the 10 Gbps, and then you got the one Darth Vader.
We got wires
really
that connect all the wireless, which we can choke you. We can choke you from afar with this technology. Hey, go fuck yourself. You know.
So I don't know if this is skipping ahead, but how does Luke survive that fall? Does he move himself into one of those tubes? When he's hanging, he gets his arm cut off by Darth Vader, and he falls backwards.
And he falls down.
And he falls, and then he's falling straight down, but then he stops falling straight down and starts falling at a side, and he goes into a tube at the perfect angle.
And it lands perfectly, slides down, no problem.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd argue that there's like some kind of gravity thing going there. You could argue that the tubes are like part of a vent system, so they're like drawing air towards
CG
them.
You could argue that he uses the Force to kind of push himself into the right spot.
You could. You could argue that the dark side actually doesn't want him dead because it's his son. You could argue that the fucking like all sorts of shit could happen.
I like that. Maybe Darth Vader pushed him into the hole.
Darth Vader's Darth Vader's got the Wi-Fi chokehold, but he's also got the Wi-Fi directional. You can actually just shove someone down and then go change the direction on him Wi-Fi.
You're gonna bring him right back up, cut off the other hand, send him right back down.
Hey man, he's got a lot of practice. He's cranking it quite a bit.
Oh my god!
I mean, I like this. I think this is a better idea because Denny. Otherwise, it makes zero. There has to be an explanation for it because it looks so ridiculous when he goes from going straight down to just
one of the funniest.
In this,
I laughed so
slide
hard
that I wanted to go on. As like a kid, it looked like it was amazing.
There's on the first special edition of this movie, they've removed it since the subsequent Blu-ray releases, but like on the 1996 VHS tape release, they have it on this video. I recommend you guys watch the differences between the special versions and the theatrical versions. That scene where he's falling is the funniest voiceover. They added him going, as he like falls down, and they cut to like every time there's a cut, it stops and starts again. It's so bad. It is so bad. It's hilarious. Man.
That's how good this movie is, though. Is that when I was watching that happen, I wasn't like, "Oh, that looks awful. This is stupid." I was just like, "This fucking movie's great."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's all I got. It's yeah.
Anyways, so, Cece, on that positive note, we're gonna take a quick break here. We're gonna split this episode up. Thanks for listening. Listen next week. We're gonna do trivia, lots more trivia on this movie here. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys in a minute.
All right.
All right.